What's up, fellas? New York Jets Stand 16 here. Doing a solo here because just hearing the news on Mike Vrabel being interviewed as a potential New York Jets head coach gives me these vibes of 1997. And for a lot of Jets historians, they remember that integral year, that offseason, what it took to change the fortunes of the New York Jets. I want to go a little back to the future, into the past, going to intertwine this together. So, as many new Jet fans that have been born in the 2000s or have become Jet fans in like 2005, there have been moments of success as a Jet fan. Yes, these past, 14, 13 years have been miserable. But in that tenure in the 2000s, we were competitive. We were relevant. The New York Jets were. We had Herman Edwards as head coach, Eric Mangini, who built a great nucleus for the New York Jets. Draft classes out of the park with GM Mike Tannenbaum, with the likes of Darrelle Revis, David Harris, DeRick Shaw, Ferguson, Mangold, even these players of Drew Coleman and Leon Washington. You mix in Chad Pennington, who was drafted within the head coaching years of a certain individual who I'm going to start naming in just a little bit. And then Rex came in, and there was like a certain transition, bringing the Jets to a different level, right, of success. Mangini built a core, and then at that point, Rex took over, and he made the Jets much better. I know a lot of people are like, oh, Rex won with Mangini's players and this and that. Yes, but I don't think Mangini would have brought the Jets to 2 straight AFC championships, because there are certain qualities within head coaches that players kind of vibrate with. And like, all right, you know what? This guy's on my certain wavelength. He gets me. Though that 2009 season, even though we backed into the playoffs, we made it special. We beat the Cincinnati Bengals in their house. They were on a hot streak as well with Palmer at quarterback and the height of Ocho Cinco. And then the following week, we went into San Diego, a San Diego team that was 13-3 with a well-established head coach in Marty Schottenheimer. We went there and we beat them. Went into the AFC Championship game against the Colts, and it just felt like we didn't belong there. We were catching lightning in a bottle, which was great. And we took the lead, and it seemed like, wow, you know what, this is going to happen. We're going to go and play against New Orleans Saints and Sean Payton, Drew Brees, and with our defense, we can match up. We lost that game. Following year, the hopes of the New York Jets were different. Every Jet fan, especially entering that season off the heels of signing LaDainian Tomlinson in the offseason, Jason Taylor. We had a group there. We had a nucleus there that we welcomed these players, and we kind of showed them the ropes of what that locker room was all about. And we went again to that AFC Championship game against the Steelers. But before getting there, again, we played against the Colts, a team that knocked us out of the AFC Championship game a year prior. We beat them with Nick Foles' field goal. The following week, AFC divisional game against the New England Patriots, powerhouse, kings not only of the East, of the NFL. Nobody gave us a shot. Bill, again, I'm sorry, I almost let it go there. Rex Ryan knew what to do. He called Dennis Byrd the night before, and he riled that team up, and there was so much inspiration. Fast forward, they beat a team that humiliated us a month before, 30-3 at Foxborough. Probably even worse than that. That was the one that Rex said to bury the ball. Fantastic. And again, the following week, we went to the AFC Championship again, and we lost against Pittsburgh. What I'm trying to get at is coaching. Coaching has a lot to do with this. And to change the culture, it takes a head coach. It takes a general manager, both working hand in hand. What speaks more volumes out of both of them? To me, it's the head coach. The players fight their asses off, not for the GM, but for the head coach. The reason why we're going to be going back and forth here in Jets eras is because for the youngins, they think this was the worst. Being a playoff drought, already for, 13, 14 years. But the worst was in the 90s for us Jet fans. The 90s when we hired, I don't know if you guys remember, Boomer Esiason. Boomer Esiason had an enormous, amazing offensive coordinator in Cincinnati. His name was Bruce Coslett. The Jets wanted to go outside the box and get an offensive coordinator up and coming before all of these Sean Paytons, McVays and whatnot. We went the Coslett route. And yes, Ken O'Brien looked good in 1990. And then 1991 happened. We finally hit the playoffs after like a probably 8-year drought. 92 happened. We gave my personal favorite quarterback, Browning and Nagel, a shot, a young quarterback, a quarterback that we drafted right after the Atlanta Falcons drafted Brett Favre. 4-12. 93 happened. Coslett was given one more shot, and he brought Boomer Esiason. Oh, my goodness, this is awesome. Let's try to rekindle it, what they had in Cincinnati when they went to the Super Bowl against Joe Montana and the Niners. It was special. It was their K-gun before the Buffalo Bills started using that same offense. It had its ups and downs, but still, as a Jet fan, you had your fun times, but then you play against Philadelphia, the Eagles here at home in the Meadowlands. The Jets are up big. Johnny Mitchell, the tight end from Nebraska, had a stellar game. And then in the final drive for the Jets to put it away, after we stacked Randall Cunningham, and that game was ours for the taking, we were playing Bubby Brister. Boomer Esiason throws it to the left. A cornerback named, Eric Allen, intercepts the ball, does an acrobatic kind of catch, and runs it all the way to the house for like a 90-yard touchdown. Jets being the same old Jets. 94 happens. We get Pete Carroll. Yeah, you guys know him now. But Pete Carroll back then, he was young, wet behind the ears, but also he was groomed well. Again, he was part of the coaching staff of the Minnesota Vikings that when they went to the Super Bowl like 4 years in a row back in the 70s. So he had great football acumen. But that was the year with the fake spike. 95, 96, we hire Rich Kotite, a failure from the Philadelphia Eagles. But again, our late owner, Leon Hess, what did he try to do? He tried to replicate what the Jets had with Joe Walton, head coach, back in the mid-'80s, high-power offense. That's why a lot of us were like, no defensive coaches. No, that we don't want them as head coach. We want offensive coaches. We want this. We want that. The main thing that we want in a head coach is one that commands respect and holds his team accountable. 1995, we go 3-13. 1996, we go 1-15. Leon Hess, in which a good friend of mine, Vinny, he says he had Woody needs to have his Leon Hess moment. That was the moment where Leon Hess, towards the end of his life, he said, enough is enough. No more playing games. I need to get the best guy. Enter Bill Parcells. Bill Parcells changed the culture of that locker room instantaneously. Players looked up to him and knew that they had to look into the mirror and make sure that they're bringing their A game or their job was on the line. Players like Wayne Chrebet, Keyshawn Johnson, they brought it. Adrian Morrell, players that were held over from those losing seasons. You started seeing what their promise was, and it was coming to fruition. A player, a quarterback like Neil O'Donnell, who failed the past 2 years in 95, 96, coming off the heels of a Super Bowl appearance with the Pittsburgh Steelers in 96, looked like a great quarterback in 97. He's formidable. But again, Parcells knew where a quarterback was falling, and he entered Glenn Foley in there. He wasn't one of those. Bill Parcells was, well, I'm going to give you every chance to succeed, every chance. You know, even though you're hurting the team, I'm going to put. No, you put your work in. What's your work ethic? Is it slow? Did you just get paid? Quinnen Williams, MIA, nowhere to be found. Or are you going to put your money where your mouth is? You're going to showcase to the world your God-given talents. Neil O'Donnell played well. He was let go in 98. That offseason in 97, going from 1-15 to 9-7. 1 game shy of making the playoffs. As a Jet fan, many of us, we've never seen that. The Jets were sort of feared. Like, I don't remember watching a game and feeling confident. I'm like, all right, it is what it is. We may chances are we're going to lose this game. The 98 season popped up. And something happened. The quarterback was Glenn Foley. Boston College all-star. Stud quarterback. I believe he was drafted in the 7th round in the 93 draft for the Jets. Parcells felt he was his Jersey guy. He was tough, gritty, got injured. Enter Vinny Testaverde. This guy right here. This guy. The jersey that I'm so proud of having. Before that point, he was one of the biggest busts in NFL history. Coming out of the University of Miami, he was highly touted. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers made him the highest paid rookie first overall. He had the record for most interceptions in one season. I think he still holds it at 44 interceptions. He went to Baltimore. Well, first he went to Cleveland with Bill Belichick. Then they turned into the Ravens. And he showcased some resilience. But again, no franchise quarterback. Enter Bill Parcells. He held everyone accountable. That team paired with the aforementioned Wayne Chrebet, Keyshawn Johnson, Curtis Martin. Oof, the list goes on and on. Aaron Glenn. What else we got here? Who else we got here? It made it happen. We went all the way to the AFC Championship game. And let me tell you guys something. And I know Tyson from Let's Talk Jets, he said the same thing. The feeling right before that Denver game, when I was there against the Jacksonville Jaguars, AFC divisional game, guess what, fellas? We had a first-round bye, division champs. We beat Buffalo at Buffalo to claim that crown. We did it. There was no atmosphere like it. We knew for a fact Jacksonville was fearing us. And because of a Hail Mary or whatever right before the first half, they made it close. We wanted blood. We wanted Elway. We wanted the Broncos. Yes, we lost that game. We were up 10-0 heading into the half. But there was something special about that locker room, about being a Jets fan, being prideful about the franchise that you love. The following year, unfortunately, what happened. Vinny tore his Achilles, but the team rallied. The team rallied. The team was still there. The core, that's what I'm trying to get at, is when you have a head coach that the players absolutely will go through a brick wall. That's a culture changer. That's what the Jets have lacked for a very long time. Todd Bowles, not the answer. Not a culture changer. He's not. He wasn't. Adam Gase, you answer that one. Robert Saleh, he tried. He tried. But unfortunately, running up and down steps before the game while opposing offenses run up the scoreboard on your defense doesn't work out. And then when it implodes here, when you have Aaron Rodgers, where the hopes were high, I had very high hopes. When you don't have that centerpiece, that foundation, it doesn't matter who you bring here. Nothing will work. Nothing. When Brett Favre was brought here in 2008, there was a foundation. We were at 8-3. He wasn't signed to save us. He was signed to bring us to the next level. Aaron Rodgers was signed for all the wrong reasons. He was older. We're expecting a Tom Brady with the Bucs and Peyton Manning with the Denver Broncos. I swallowed that pill. Many of you guys did too. But there was no accountability in this team because Aaron Rodgers was in full control of this team. You cannot allow the inmates to run the asylum. You can't. You can't give him everything he wants. You can't. Especially when you have a coach that is going to say something and he gets hands on him, pushes him away. I know it sounds hypocritical because at the time I was like, yeah, oh yeah, that's great. But you don't do that to a head coach. Try to do that with Bill Parcells. You can't. Enter Mike Vrabel. What's Vrabel done? He just went to Tennessee. That's it. He commanded respect. He made a believer out of Ryan Tannehill, a guy that was super lost in Miami. That team rallied around him. He brought them to the AFC Championship game as well with a lethal run game. Defensive coordinators, everyone, before they made a decision, they ran it by Vrabel. To me, Mike Vrabel is one of those where, yes, he's a defensive-minded coach, but he's a well-rounded coach. 4th and 1, second quarter, the tide of the game can turn. The decision is his. But it starts at the beginning, off-season training camp. Who shows up? Oh, I'm going on vacation. You're not part of the team then. We're trying to change something here. Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, Breece Hall. Aaron Rodgers is not part of this, guys. Just understand that. Devontae Adams will not be part of this. There will be a lot of players that will be let go this offseason. A lot of fan favorite ones. It's going to be tough to swallow as a Jet fan, especially when you have all these jerseys. But the Jets are trying to change something. They want to become the Kansas City Chiefs. Oh my goodness, how fast we forget how horrible they were. They were bad before Andy Reid got there, before John Dorsey got there. They had a plan. Let's trade for Alex Smith from the San Francisco 49ers. He's going to be our bridge quarterback until we find our quarterback of the future. You have Mike Borgonzi from the Kansas City Chiefs, who works, I believe he is player development in scouting. He scouted Kelsey, Hunt, Kareem Hunt, Pat Mahomes. He relayed all this information to John Dorsey. They traded up. They got themselves a quarterback in Pat Mahomes, but there was a plan. They didn't throw him to the fire. You see, when you have a head coach and a GM that work together, but mostly the head coach has final say, kind of like a Bill Parcells, the owner has no other option but to go against his own human nature, which is Woody Johnson. Woody Johnson loves to put rookie quarterbacks out there. He enjoys it. He gets a thrill out of it. Is it ticket sales? Is it seeing the fans kind of like get all glorified with the new Mark Sanchez jerseys, Sam Darnold, Geno Smiths, Zach Wilsons? What if there was a plan there like the Chiefs had? Or maybe like the Houston Oilers before they became the Titans, where they had Chris Chandler, a journeyman quarterback, become the starter, while Steve McNair, a top 5 draft pick out of Alcorn State, wait in the wings. I have a strong feeling that Tyrod Taylor is going to be part of the Jets' future, maybe as a bridge quarterback. Maybe there is another quarterback out there that the new head coach and new GM may have to give up a first rounder. I don't know. Maybe like for a JJ McCarthy. Oh, but he's injured. If there's a plan, I'm all with it. No knee-jerk reactions. Nothing like that, please. And I think that's where Mike Vrabel would be one of these franchise-changing head coaches for the New York Jets. They have not had that since Bill Parcells. He will command respect. He will command a certain authority there, where players will bring their A game to the next level. My humble opinion, I believe before he left yesterday from One Jets Drive, Woody Johnson offered him the job. And there is no other head coaching job. And I get it. There's going to be a lot of them, right? The Saints, the Giants, even maybe the Pats. You never know. Miami might be all looking for head coaches. I don't think there will be another opportunity like this for Mike Vrabel to possibly have full autonomy to the point where he gets hired first and he's going to have a say on the GM that the Jets want. That's huge. Mike Vrabel is an ex-player, ex-coach. He's been around the best of them. The best part, he knows what the Jets are all about. A laughingstock, a circus, a clown show. The butt of all jokes is the New York Jets. That's what they are. Geno Smith, broken jaw. Sam Darnold, mono. The list goes on and on. This past year, Hassan Reddick, you trade for a holdout. You don't expect him to hold out until he gets a new deal. Doesn't show up until what, week 7, week 8? He hasn't even recorded a sack yet. Clown show. Laughable. He ain't going to be a Jet as well. I look at this as an opportunity for the New York Jets, in which they can't pass up. They had an opportunity to hire Andy Reid after Philadelphia let him go. The Jets decided to keep Todd Bowles. The Jets had a possibility of getting Sean Payton. Nope. Got to hold on to Robert Saleh. The Jets had last year an amazing opportunity to hire Jim Harbaugh, now the head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers. No. Let's keep Robert Saleh one more year. That's why I feel Woody Johnson has reached a breaking point. And I know a lot of you guys might say, man, you're giving Woody way too much credit. Before Saleh got canned at 2-3, a lot of Jet fans were like, nah, he's going to keep Saleh until the end of the year, because that's not typical Woody Johnson. He doesn't let go of coaches. Gone. Saleh was gone. I was talking with my co-host Liam right a week before Woody let go of Joe Douglas. And he's like, I wouldn't be shocked if Joe Douglas gets canned, because there's really nothing else he can do. He's done. And me, I'm like, taking that perspective, that's not how Woody Johnson operates. No way. Gone. Joe Douglas is gone. Woody, as much as you don't like it, he gives a shit about the New York Jets. He does. That's his product. I don't care if you're a billionaire. You start reading a lot of these books, guys, of billionaires, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, all these high echelon guys, Gary Vaynerchuk. They do not like losing money. They don't like it. The product is a reflection on them. These reports about Brick Johnson, Woody Johnson's son, is embarrassing. He's going to try his best, Woody Johnson, to lure Mike Vrabel. I honestly think that there has been a contract already placed onto the table for Mike Vrabel to be the next head coach of the New York Jets. Why do I say that? He's highly coveted. He's the only candidate out there with experience and respected. Along the lines, there's no project. There's no Ben Johnson project. There's no Cohen guy from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There's no, you know what? These first timers. Get someone who's been there, done that, and he has learned from his past. Dan Quinn, a head coach that was with the Atlanta Falcons. Yes, we chose Todd Bowles over Dan Quinn. Do I think his success would have been better here than Todd Bowles? I don't know. I have no idea. But the Commanders took a chance on him. They won the NFC East. I'm sorry. They won a playoff berth with a rookie quarterback. That culture is completely changed from last year. The Commanders were a joke. But that's what happens when you change it from the inside out. When you change it like that, players look into it and they start saying, shoot, you know what? This is good for my career. I could bring it to the next level. Garrett Wilson will want to get paid this offseason, entering his last year of his contract. Do I think he will get paid? It all depends on how this shakes out. I honestly think he will get paid. Mike Vrabel or any head coach that comes in here, they know that he's an integral piece of this team and he's a superstar. This isn't Jets green color glasses superstar. Garrett Wilson is a beast. He's a monster. Sauce Gardner, the jury's out. He needs better coaching. You got a second rounder for Sauce, 2 second rounders, whatever the case is, and that can help you in the future. Everything's on the table. Quinnen Williams, another one. Everything is on the table if it's Mike Vrabel. No, I like those guys. Flashback, Bill Parcells. We had a great pass rusher named Hugh Douglas. What an absolute stud. First season, 10 sacks. He wasn't for the Jets. Big mouth. Traded him to the Eagles. Gone. Bye. Anybody remember Hugh Douglas? When the Jets reached the AFC Championship game against Denver at Mile High in 98? Nope. Nobody did. Nobody does. That's why I let these guys cook. Make them Walter White. It's Breaking Bad. This is really, really bad what's going on with the Jets. It's time to change it from the inside out. And it starts by getting an elite head coach. And that's Mike Vrabel. Now, I'm not comparing him to a great elite head coach, but I am comparing the qualities of a Bill Parcells. No nonsense approach. The meeting's at 1 p.m. You show up at 12:50 p.m., 10 minutes before. Accountable. All these flags that you see here, Jets fans, it's common when you're watching a Jets game and it's raining yellow flags. It's expected. Michael Clemens coming off the top rope, body slamming players, 15-yard penalty. Clemens don't care. Would you? If you could do whatever you want in your job without being penalized, not holding accountable, but still making buku bucks bi-weekly, you wouldn't care. Screw it. I got a job. Solomon Thomas, another guy. Who wants him? No, nobody wants him. Enough. Time to clean house. And it starts very soon. This week, I predict the New York Jets to hire Mike Vrabel as the new head coach of the New York.
Territory at the 47-yard line. Big draw. And Pennington going for 6.